All right, let's try to see if we can get this done. Hello, everybody. So this is the first time that I am doing this particular thing, so we're going to have some hiccups. It is all good. Even if we have a bunch of hiccups, we'll get through it. Let me tell you how this all came about. This came about because I had an epiphany of sorts last week. And it also came about because of Dr. Janine. It's a long story, but I have been saying that I wanted to do weekly lives like she does for quite some time. Not necessarily a question and answer, just talking about some things. And I've been saying that, and I just never got around to doing it because, like everything, my life has just been crazy, chaotic, and I've been trying to do too many things at one time. And I'm pretty much a one-man shop around here. And so it just creates a lot of reason and ability to procrastinate and to say, everything isn't perfect. I don't like the way this is done or that's done. And when those things happen, we can get inside of um, procrastination and things can just run wild. And so this last week, I realized as I was trying to figure out what we're going to do for this week, what our theme was going to be, I realized that we do this Monday, this check-in Monday. And I do a video post for it usually, but I said to myself, what would happen if I did a regular post and then did a live check-in? Because sometimes conversations and getting energy exchanged back and forth is a great way to make more progress than just typing back and forth to one another. I don't mean to belittle typing because typing back and forth to one another is absolutely amazing, but I really like more of these live interactions. I crave them. And so I said, what if I could incorporate this into Check In Monday? And so I decided, well, I'm going to experiment. We'll just see how this works. I'm going to make Check In Monday this week a text post. And then I'm literally going to check in because that's what it's we're checking in. Let's just check in and figure out a time. And I don't know whether or not we're going to keep doing this. I don't know whether or not it's going to be the same time. We will see. We'll see how this goes. But I decided that I liked this concept. I liked this idea. And I put it on my mental note. Well, life started lifing, right? And so over the last couple of days, things happened that made it not convenient for me to do this. My mother's coming home from the hospital today. Thank God for that. But that creates a bunch of challenges. So I have clients all day. I have my mother coming home from the hospital, and I've got our energy mastery class this evening. I also have tickets to homecoming for before Day of Discovery that launched today. Sorry that it launched late, but it launched today. All of these things are being thrown up in the air. I'm telling you the perfect storm to say, all right, I haven't even announced it to the community, so I'm not going to let anybody down. The perfect storm to not do it was brewing. And this is where the valley of decision comes in because I've been going through these things with you all. I've been going through the weeks and doing the work. I've been doing all of these things. Has it been working for me? Now, the old Darryl would have been looking for reasons to not do it. The new Darryl recognized that this is something that was taking place, and I stopped it in its tracks. This was something that was happening. It was a pattern. We talked about patterns a couple of months ago. It was a pattern that not just was happening, but one that I could thoroughly justify if I really wanted to. I stopped it in its tracks and said, we're moving forward with this. And I even gave a specific time and I announced it. See, that's my thing. If I don't announce it, even up to the last minute, I could change my mind. But I announced it, saying to myself, the community will come if they're available. If not, no big deal. And I announced it, and you all are here in decent numbers, too. So I appreciate that. I also am broadcasting this live inside of our YouTube feed. Let me tell you why I'm doing that. because you all have people that don't necessarily want to join us here in the quantum wellness portal because they don't really know what happens here. And so, since this particular thing talks about our theme, this self-help theme that we do, that's for everybody in the portal, no matter whether they have a premium subscription or not. The quantum conversations area, that's for everybody, no matter what their type of subscription is or membership is. And so I'm making that available to the broader community so they can join us on this weekly path of self-improvement. And so we're going to have that there. So theoretically, if you want to encourage someone to come and they haven't come yet, you can have them tune in on Mondays if we continue to do this. Right now, we'll see what's going to happen. But welcome. And I'm excited because Gary is here. I'm excited that everybody is here, but Gary specifically went to sleep before we were to get started and he woke up in time. I can't promise that. If I go to sleep before something, I'm not necessarily going to wake up on time. So this particular session is going to be overwhelmingly um, moderate. It's gonna be tapered down from what we're used to. It's just gonna be me talking back and forth to you, and I appreciate you all in the chat. And we're gonna be using the chat a lot. And if we continue to do this further, then the chat portion is gonna be a huge part of what we're gonna be utilizing. So I want to start back by reinforcing the theme for June 2026. It is expansion, expanding our ability to do things, like stop maintaining and start expanding. That's the overall theme of this month, because what we've been doing is looking to see what we can do in order to get our growth, and we've been looking at things that hold us back, and we've been looking at ceilings that pop up, whether they be perceived or real, and those things stop us from utilizing our great potential in it. But sometimes we expand and we expand, or we get to the point of expansion and we stop. And what we've basically done is we've reached the limits on what we believe is true. We've reached the limits on what we believe can happen. Almost like this thought just popped in my head right now, almost like a fish in an aquarium. You have those four walls. Now, if you were to take a fish from a bowl, they have those goldfish that live in bowls, and you put them in a great big aquarium, the fish's ability to perceive reality changes the moment you transfer him or her from the bowl into the aquarium. The reality changes. And what he or she didn't even know was possible becomes possible because it becomes their truth now. If you were to try to take a fish that was in a bowl, the bowl is the scope of their world. It's the scope of what they are able to perceive because it's what is their reality. And it's not like they're sitting there thinking to themselves, oh, I wish that I were in a bigger aquarium. They're not even fantasizing about that because they have been stuck in a reality that, from their perception, are limits. So, whatever the limits of that bowl is, they don't have the ability necessarily to think outside of it because the bowl is their truth, not the aquarium. But when you transfer it from the bowl to the aquarium, when the experience changes, their reality changes, the perception changes, their truth changes. But now, the edge of the larger aquarium is their new reality, it's their new world, it's their new truth. So they've expanded their ability to perceive, they've expanded their ability to dream, but the expansion has limits because of what is perceived as the edge of the world, their world. Many of us operate like that fish in the bowl. Prior to learning about energy healing, natural health, the body's ability to rejuvenate things, we operate inside of these little parameters. And when we move from the bowl to the aquarium, we're excited because this is a new reality. This is a new way of thinking. This is a new perception. This is a new framework that we have been made aware of. But that framework, which was very, very promising at the beginning, at some point becomes your prison, because that framework becomes the limit to your ability to think. So you expanded, and you expanded a lot, but now you're stuck in a new bubble, and expansion seems impossible because you can't think outside of that. And that's the reason that we're part of the reason that we're doing these things, because we want to continuously raise awareness so that we can expand outside of wherever we're comfortable, to just take a look at new things or look at new ideas, and then ask ourselves whether or not we desire to go in that direction. When you have a new perception and you make the decision to not go in that direction, that's great, because now you are the master of your own domain. Now you've actually made a conscious and um, um, you've made a decision based on facts. You have made an educated decision. That's the word I'm looking for. You've made an educated decision, which is based on new information. And you may decide that's not for me. But when you decide something isn't for you without understanding the depth of it, you're stuck inside of a box or a prison. So this month's theme is expansion. Don't just maintain, expand. And then when you expand and see what's out there, you can then make a decision. So we've gone through the stages of recognizing what might be there. We've gone through the stages of moving. And now we're learning to hold more things, or we did already. We hold more peace. We hold more energy. We hold more desire to learn and to grow. And so that takes us to this week's theme. Well, actually, before we get to this week's theme, I'm going to ask a question to those who are here and participating. What does expansion mean for you right now? What does expansion look like? Meaning, if you look at where you're stuck, if you look at the prison that you've made for yourself or that others may have made for you, if your first, what would your first level of expansion be? What would you do? So that's for you all. And I'm going to look over here in the chat to see whether or not I can get some sort of an answer here. Well, I see Joyce. Joyce, oh, that's right. Joyce was not supposed to be joining us, but we ended up realizing that she could come. I feel like Joyce may have canceled what she had going on in order to be with us. And she claims that it got canceled, but I'm not exactly sure. So Amy says that it would look like getting out of her comfort zone. See, that right there, that one point alone goes right with what we're talking about, because the comfort zone becomes our peace. It becomes our prison after a while, but it becomes our peace. And most of us have big issues dealing outside of our comfort zone because we've been working in it so well and we know how to navigate it. I will be honest with you, the comfort zone for some people is chaos. And it sounds counterintuitive. How could comfort zone be chaos? It's an area that you're still comfortable navigating. Chaotic spaces for many of us are areas that we know how to navigate. We don't necessarily even know how to navigate peace. That's not throwing that at Amy. I'm not saying that Amy's answer means that, but I'm saying that there are lots of people that is their reality with their comfort zone. Now, someone, Andy is saying Joyce would not cancel a deposition even for this event. Andy, I would not be so sure about that. All right, Joyce is chiming in. She says, expansion for me looks like ignoring the noise of negativity surrounding frequency support for health and just plowing through it as I've been doing. Sometimes family is the worst critic. Worry less about that and more about helping folks. That's my goal. That's it. See, finding where we are allows us to realize what expansion looks like. And then when we get to that point, that's when we can stretch it, stretch the container, which is this week's theme, stretching the container. So if you've been used to chaos, peace might feel strange. If you've been used to struggling, having a regular flow might be strange. If you've been doubting yourself, having self confidence, it might feel unnatural. If you've been hiding in the background and not in the forefront, you don't like to be out front, you just like to work in the background, but you realize you have a deeper calling, stepping out front might seem unsafe or it might feel unsafe. So, forcing yourself into a bigger version of yourself really can become uncomfortable. So, next question. What is there something that you want to do? You actually know that you want to do, but it involves a level of expansion that's uncomfortable. And so it's been taking you away from that. Now, that's the question. Go ahead and start typing it for those of you who are joining us virtually. Just type that answer. What is it that you've been wanting to do? But the expansion won't allow you to do it. And so examples might be peace, working out. For me, working out. I don't like working out. I don't like it at all. I dislike it, in fact. I there are people who say like I crave going to the gym. I want to be one of those people. I dislike that. And because I dislike it, I don't even get in there and do it. I don't even get in there and go. I just plow through my life as it is, and I haven't made room for it. Last year, we talked about it. For those of you who were around last year, I was going out and walking almost 4 miles every single day because I do enjoy walking and I enjoy nature. I haven't gotten back into it this year. I really, really need to do it. Let's see. Gary says, starting expansion for me is cleaning my room. I get that. I get that. All right, so back to Joyce. Stepping out of one career, court reporting, and only being a full-time practitioner. I'm getting there, but I simply want to pull the life plug on that because it's my new passion. So Joyce is a brand new practitioner for those of you all who don't know, and she does wonderful work with people utilizing modalities and energy and frequency. I remember when I was working inside of a wellness center, and what I'm doing right now, what I literally having a community, having an online community that I serve and support, that was my goal. That was one of my biggest goals. But I did not step out to do that because, as Amy said right here, feeling unsafe. That was an unsafe feeling to step out and do this full time. Literally, what I'm doing right now is what I wanted to do back then. And it didn't happen until I was forced to literally leave that environment and start here. And so I don't recommend everyone wait until force happens. I recommend trying to get in there and doing it on your own terms. Betty says, expansion for me is really getting to my own self care. Now, those of us who are utilizing frequency medicine, frequency healing, quantum entanglement, we work so much with other people. I can say that for myself. We work so much with other people that the self aspect of it lacks. I think about scanning myself last. I use the AO scanner and I think about scanning myself last. I think about sending selfies to myself last. I think about doing inner voice last. I think about when I'm dealing with other people, the first thing that pops up in my brain is, how can I use frequency to help them accomplish these things? When we have our energy mastery classes and someone pops in there and they ask, what do you do for this situation? What do you do for that situation? In the what would Dr. Darryl do portion of that, I, I can easily usually come up with something. And sometimes it's from experience of working with people. But when it's me, I don't necessarily easily come up with it. I don't struggle to come up with it. I just don't even remember, because there is a part of me subconsciously that never puts my own needs and healthcare and self-care first. Almost ever. I'm constantly thinking about other people, clients, and family. So I'm with Betty on that. Amy told me to go live on Facebook. No, no, she wasn't talking to me. Oh, this was Amy stepping out. This is Amy answering the question. Go live on Facebook, talking about who I am, what I do, having the confidence to do so. So listen, Amy, I know that you all think that, oh, Darryl just loves being in front of the camera. Not necessarily. I had to get over this. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a fear, but desire to not be out front. So here is a challenge for you, Amy. Over the next 7 days, go live for 5 minutes. That's it. And give yourself more things to talk about than you could possibly talk about in 5 minutes, right? Make a list. Then narrow down the list to things that you don't even need notes for. Things that if I just write it down as a bullet point topic, you have so much to share simply because you know it. And then take one or two of those things, because, 5 minutes is going to seem like a long time the first time if you haven't done it. I don't know if you've done lives before. And spontaneously go live. Don't announce it. Don't even tell anybody you're doing it. Just go live. Whoever happens to be there will see it. Whoever doesn't happen to be there, they're still going to see the replay of it. Do it. 5 minutes. You'll realize that if you narrow it down to topics of things that you know like the back of your hand, then see how you feel, and then see whether or not you can repeat that in a couple of days. I listen. I'm not gonna be mad if you don't do it, but I challenge you to just do a 5 minute live over the next 7 days. All right. This is from Joyce. I flash on the think of me last. It's easy to forget at the end of a draining day, and I recognize what I need to do. I simply have to take time, better time to care, simply have to take the time and care of me. Kalila says, be more articulate in front of larger groups. Great with one-on-one, but no desire to speak publicly. Did great in the classroom because there was no judgment that I know of, possibly. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Kalila was my son's teacher. It's amazing. I didn't know this until recently. I found out this information about a month and a half ago. She was already a part of the membership, and we had to have a discussion. And in the discussion, I realized that I have known her for, I don't know, damn near 30 years. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? So, yes, being in front of a classroom, you're dealing with kids. And so here's the issue with that. Kids, we perceive them as our inferior. They are not, but we perceive children as our inferior. And for the most part, you're not intimidated by your inferior. You're intimidated by those that you see as your equal or your superior. And the intimidation factor is even stronger when you perceive them as your superior, but you know they see you as an equal. Because the subconscious mind says the moment I start speaking, they will realize that we are not equals. And they will realize that I am their inferior. And they'll look at me differently. Now, all of this happens in the background. Most of us don't walk around saying that. But that becomes the reason that we look at that in that way. And we have difficulty speaking to larger groups because the mask comes off and the subconscious mind says they will see me as I am. So, again, start small, maybe virtual if you want, because now you're not looking into the eyes of people. But Kalila, having um, done teaching, if you can subconsciously look at the people in front of you and see them as children, then the frequency changes because you're relating to them a little bit differently. That tip might work. All right. Let's see. 30 years. That's right. All right. Joyce says to Kalila, remember, if people are talking about you, you hit a nerve. Never fear a crowd. They'll be the ones to love you and those who don't. You'll touch someone in a special way when you allow yourself to be just you. I agree. Amy says, thanks, Joyce. Thanks, Dr. Darryl. I hope you do it, Amy. And Gary is right. Small world. We're all connected. That's all I could think about. We are all connected. Energetically, we are all connected. And the connection draws us to one another. This is one of the reasons I'm detouring a little bit from this topic, but this is one of the reasons that those of you who are looking to have communities, you're looking to build downlines, you're looking to network. One of the things and the biggest problems that we make, and I'll just say, I'll use the AO scanner. I use the AO scanner as a big analogy because that's one of the things that 80% of us in the community have in common. 80% of us have the AO scanner, and we look at the knowledge I need to understand the scanner. I need to be able to explain this. I need to be able to explain that. I need to be able to interpret things. I understand. I understand where this fear comes from and this need. But when you're looking to network to other people, when you're looking to have a larger community, when you're looking to have people that's going to come into your circle, instead of focusing on the specifics and the particulars, if you are just able to broadcast your energy, if you're able to broadcast your genius, if you're able to shine your frequency, you're not going to draw people to you that are inclined towards the AO scanner. You're going to draw people to you that resonate on the same frequency that you resonate on. And when you find those people, they will then take your suggestions more serious, whatever it might be. It might be the AO scanner. It might be Zyto. It might be Quest. It might be food. It might be lasers. It might be auriculotherapy. It might be cooking. It might be essential oils. Whatever it is that you are interested in, when someone resonates on the same frequency as you, they look at these new ideas, these new opportunities in a way that's totally different because they didn't resonate with the idea. They didn't resonate with the modality. They didn't resonate with the scanner. They resonated with you. And now that they're resonating with you, they want to know, what do you have to offer? The defense, the guards are down. Whenever I introduce a new item, something from my treatment room, Joyce, I almost have to stop her from buying it. She's not asking the inner details or the inner workings of what is this for. She just knows that I have it. And because of the resonance that we have with one another, I need to carefully craft my words and try to help her figure out whether or not she should have it because the resonance is there. So I don't have to oversell things. I just have to resonate with her. I have to resonate with you. Most of those who are in the community who are active, we resonate at the same frequency. And that allows you to take my suggestions differently than you might take someone's suggestion whose frequency you don't resonate on. And now, when we come into my world and you're utilizing the things that I'm utilizing, then that frequency can go to that thing. But the defense was down to begin with. Especially with me, I'm constantly telling you, if this doesn't resonate with you, don't buy it. We have so many different things that we can use. Find the thing that resonates with you. But the connection between us happened before any of that happened, right? And so those of you who are nervous and afraid about getting out in front of whatever it is that you're trying to promote, instead of feeling that you need to understand that thing, you need to understand yourself. You need to be able to shine your frequency out so that the people who resonate at the same frequency you resonate on, they're going to be drawn to you. And when they're drawn to you, they want to hear whatever it is you got to say. Um, yeah, I went off on a tangent there. And I only planned on being here for a half hour. I promised Gary I'd only be here for a half hour. All right. So, yeah, thanks, Joyce. All right. So, our question for this week, we put up our check-in Monday. What do you need more of? What do you need more of in your life in order to expand? You don't have to answer that now. This is where your assignment goes. Back to the post, back to check-in Monday, and answer it there. Where do you want, or what do you need more of in order to get your expansions? So I challenge you all to let me know whether or not you found this helpful. Literally just a half hour live chat each week. I am going to ask Joyce to create a post in Quantum Conversations, just so you know. All of you can create posts. Many of you respond to my posts. You're able to create your own posts in there, giving me your thoughts on this. Now, I'm tasking Joyce with this because I already know her answer, but I'll allow her to put it in her own words, and then ask other people what they thought. We will put the replay. We're gonna have a replay of this. Ask other people what we thought, and whether or not you think it's gonna be helpful for us to do this each Monday to set the frequency, the goals for this week. Amy loved this. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. I'm going to try to be respectful of your time. I don't know what time, if we start making this a regular, I don't know what time it's going to be. It will be in the afternoon. It's not going to be at night. But there's something about this that works for me. There's something about this that resonates with me. Being able to come in here and talk to you all live for this. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Let me see. Let me look and see who's here. We got Janice, Luciana, Joy, Joyce, Amy, Movita, Cindy, Andy, Gary, Betty, Kalila, Janine. So there we go. Thank you all. Listen, I'm going to, again, be respectful of your time. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to try not to make these go over 30 minutes. If so, not much longer. And I will see you all hopefully tonight. For those of you who are watching this week, our tickets to Day of Discovery are available. And so you should see that on the board. You should have gotten an email about it. You can get in there. We have 10 rooms at the host hotel that have been discounted. I believe the traditional rate is $250, and they've discounted it for our members who register to $179. So when you register, you get the link to book your hotel room at the discounted rate if you want. But I don't have any control over adding more. They gave us 10, and when those 10 are gone, then they're gone. And if you have any questions about any of that, just reach out or start a thread on the portal. Thank you all. I will see you all soon. Hopefully tonight we have our energy mastery class, and hopefully I'll see you all. Those of you who are premium members, I'll see you all there. Tomorrow we have our quantum watch party. And don't forget, next Wednesday, we have our Cephi Star Masterclass. I didn't make a big to-do about that, so I need to make more of a to-do about it. But next Wednesday, 6 o'clock Eastern, Cephi Star, we get into it. I'm sorry. I've gone way over too long. I'll see you all tonight.